Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome.
Buonasera.
Good evening. We've got a few more coming in.
Buonasera a tutti, benvenuti. Welcome. Buonasera.
Welcome.
We're going to wait a few more minutes and we will get started to honor those of you who are on time for this event. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, a few more coming in. Wonderful. Okay. I think we can get started, Vale, no?
Sure.
There's a few more coming in. Okay, I see Elisa coming in.
Okay, Nicole.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. I am so very happy to see all of you, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Nicole Leon. I am the Director of Admissions at La Scuola, and welcome to this Q&A session that we have hosted for our inquiring families about our exciting Peninsula school that we are opening in just a few short months. So before we share our presentation with you, I'd like all of the leadership team to introduce themselves. And I thought we could start with our amazing head of school, Valentina.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Grazie, benvenuti a tutti. Welcome, everyone. We really appreciate you being here to learn more about La Scuola. My name is Valentina Imbeni. As you can probably tell, I'm a native of Italy. I've been in California for 20 years, and I'm the founding head of La Scuola International in San Francisco. We've been around for quite some time, started as a really tiny playgroup of parents and have now grown into a pre-K-8 school. I also had two children who attended La Scuola and have graduated from La Scuola here in San Francisco. So this has been an incredible experience as a school leader and also as a mother. And I've seen them, grow up bilingual and also benefit from the incredible pedagogy that we offer here at La Scuola. So, we'll learn more about us later. So I'm gonna leave the floor to the rest of the team. You will see that this is an incredible group of people, and one thing that's unique about La Scuola is that we're all very passionate about what we do, and we've just joined this incredible organization because we want to make a positive change in the world through education.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sally Meehan Peterson. I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning at La Scuola. It's nice to see everyone. This is my 9th year with La Scuola. And 13 years ago, I was a parent and at La Scuola and had made a decision when my child was at 3.5 and thought I really wanted to grow the experience of her preschool experience and move a little into inquiry and away from just letters and only letters and numbers. And so I entered the world, the magical world of La Scuola, and have been here ever since. Welcome.
Buonasera a tutti. Hi, everyone. My name is Elisa Leonardi. I'm the Director of Facilities at La Scuola. I've joined 7 years ago. I have a background in science, and I'm also a parent of 2 La Scuola students, and I'm very excited to open one more new campus for us. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Nicole, you want to call people?
Sure.
Why don't you call people?
Fede, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Buonasera a tutti. My name is Federica Lentini. I'm the Early Childhood K3 Director alla Scuola. I've been at the school for many, many years, and I'm coming from Torino in Piedmonte. And I'm really passionate about Reggio Emilia and the IB and the language immersion. So really exciting to see this new campus growing. I'm also a mom of 2 children. One is 9 and the little one is 5. They're both alla scuola. So it's also great to be a parent of the school. So welcome everyone.
Paola. Oh, I think you're muted, Paola.
Sorry. Buonasera a tutti, eccoci qua. My name is Paola Barberi. I'm also from Piemonte and I'm passionate about Juventus. So hopefully we'll have a few more Juventus fans. Anyway, I have been at La Scuola, I've been at La Scuola for 4 years. This is my 4th year as staff at La Scuola. However, I started my journeys many years before when my son was in Piccoli and he graduated 2 years ago, the first class to graduate, which you can see behind me. So behind this, I think Valentina can recognize her child there. This is 3 of the children behind me actually graduated 2 years ago for the first class that graduated from La Scuola. So I'm a very proud parent and cannot leave the school. So I'm still here whilst my son left a couple of years ago. So welcome. Who's next?
Let's see. Megan.
Ciao everyone, hello, buonasera. My name is Megan Reed and I am the pre-K curriculum coordinator, so for early childhood. And I'm also the garden environmental science specialist, also for pre-K. So this is the start of my 7th school year with La Scuola. I'm especially excited about this meeting and kind of this venture that we're undertaking of growing the school and adding a new campus. I was born and raised in Menlo Park, so Palo Alto is my backyard. Yeah, so I'm a very native Californian, also stayed here for college. I was down at UCLA and studied abroad in Italy and minored in Italian. Completely fell in love with the language, the culture, the people, everything that comes with it. And I kind of fell into teaching. I started as an extended care, 10 hours a week, and kind of worked my way up. And so I'm now doing the curriculum coordination piece. And so this is really near and dear to my heart that we're expanding the school and coming back to an area that is, yes, where I'm from. So welcome, everybody.
And we have Robin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robin Bonasso. I'm the Director of Advancement at La Scuola, and I've been a part of La Scuola since 2011. Hard to believe. It's been a decade already. And like Megan, I'm from the South Bay as well. So it's yeah, it's really amazing. This has been a long time coming, and it's so wonderful to have it come to fruition. I'm also a parent at La Scuola. My children both attended La Scuola at the preschool and the kindergarten, and yeah, we're so excited to have you all here joining us tonight. So welcome.
Okay, and did I get everybody? Joel?
Ciao a tutti. My name is Joel. I'm the communications manager. Welcome, everyone. Really happy to see all of you here. I get the pleasure of doing our storytelling and celebrating our students and our teachers and our amazing faculty and staff, and really uplifting the accomplishments and the really awesome stories that we have at La Scuola. We have so many at the personal level and at the campus and school level. So very excited to see everyone here, and hope you have a good time.
And I see you, Alice.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Alice. I'm a teacher in Grandissimi. It's been my 5th year at La Scuola, and I'm so glad that we can see some future faces of parents at La Scuola here. So thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you for introducing everybody. And I said earlier, my name is Nicole Leon. I'm the Director of Admissions. I am probably the newest member to this amazing community. I have been with La Scuola for a little over 3 months now. I am a native San Franciscan, born and raised in San Francisco, and have been in education for 20 years. And joining this amazing community has truly been my North Star. So it has been a true gift. So I'm very, very happy to be here with you all. I'm going to go ahead and shift gears, and we're going to start our presentation. Okay, can everybody see the screen? Okay, perfect. Okay, Vale, you can take it from here.
Sorry, I'm muted. I will take it from here. So again, welcome everyone. We are going to try to go through this quickly. We're always hesitant to put you in front of yet another PowerPoint and in a Zoom meeting. We just want you to know a little bit more about us, but we also want to leave ample time for any questions you may have. So really what you see here on the screen is our way of summarizing all of the wonderful things we do at La Scuola. It is a very complex combination of pedagogies and language immersion and wonderful values and our mission statement, of course. Really when we set out to create La Scuola, we all, realized that many of the schools we saw around us were exactly like the schools we had attended as young children, and obviously something had to change to make sure that education stayed relevant to the young people that will be, the future leaders and people that will make, hopefully, the world a better place. So we really, at La Scuola, we embrace this ability that children have to learn across languages, cultures, and even languages. And also we want to put them at the center of the learning process. This is something that comes from the Reggio Emilia approach to education. And when a child and a student is the protagonist of the learning process, really amazing things can happen. And it's very important to us that the students ask questions. We take their questions very seriously. And when, you get this incredibly complex questions from them, if we do openly listen to children, then we also will get to them being able to discover extraordinary answers by themselves. Next slide, Nicole.
One moment, Vale, just to remind everybody, should you have questions, please put them in the chat. So we will be answering as we go, but please put any of your questions in the chat. Okay, grazie, Vale.
This is actually a very important concept in our own pedagogy and in the Reggio Emilia pedagogy, the image of the child. The founder of the Reggio Emilia approach was a man named Loris Malaguzzi. He was a young teacher during World War II, and if there are any Italians at this meeting, you will know the history, and you will know that the region of Emilia-Romagna, which is the region of Bologna, was really where in the last 2 years of the war, this is where the resistance was very, very active, and the German occupation had come from northern Italy, and the Allies were coming up to the peninsula. So it was really a very difficult time. And I think Loris Malaguzzi was always interested in finding out what had made some people say no to, when asked, for example, to prosecute people based on their race or beliefs or ethnicity. And so he had this curiosity of making sure that we could find a way to educate young children so that the atrocities of World War II would not be reproduced. And he always came back to this idea of holding a very high image of children. He really believed that we should remind ourselves in everything we do, the way we teach, the way we parent, the children are intelligent, are capable, they have very ambitious desires, as he says, and requests. And sometimes I think as parents and educators, we may fall into the trap of seeing children as weak and needing protection. And by doing that, we take something away from them. And so I think this is something that we try to live every day at La Scuola. And if we believe in children, that they will then believe in themselves. So how do we do all of this? So we have three really things that we do at La Scuola, and one is the inspiration given by the Reggio Emilia approach. Reggio Emilia is a small town in northern Italy where this incredible pedagogy was developed for the last 50 years. It is based on what is known as constructivist approach to education. I know this is getting too technical, so I will not bore you about this, but it's this idea that students can construct their own knowledge and the teacher will construct the knowledge alongside them. Again, it puts the learning back in the hands of the students, but with the teacher alongside. If you are not from Italy and you're like joining us tonight, I know that sometimes the Reggio Emilia approach is seen as oh, this is emergent curriculum, the child determines what is going to happen. This is really, really far from the truth. The schools in Reggio Emilia, Italy, are actually public schools, and they actually follow the national curriculum. And so we are also a scuola paritaria, so we have been recognized by the Italian Ministry of Education. We are an American school, but we are also in compliance with the Italian curriculum. So no, we write the curriculum and our teachers determine what happens in class, but we do listen to your child, and you can get to the same destination traveling via very different roads. And this is where I think our ability to be in tune with what children are wondering and asking is very, very important. And then as we decided, we grew as a school from a preschool program to a pre-K-8 program. We were looking at the curriculum framework that would really support us as we grew to the grades. And this is when we encountered the International Baccalaureate, which is an amazing framework, again, developed a little north of Italy in the 60s in Switzerland. And it started as a high school diploma curriculum, and it then expanded to the primary years and the middle years. This is used by about 5,000 schools around the world, and it's really focused on concepts of global citizens making the world a better place, but also a great combination of, I would say, the best of traditional and the best of progressive education. I sometimes like to say it gives structure to progressive education, if you will. And it's also an amazing opportunity because you may be here in the Bay Area today, and you may be in Europe in a few years or in Latin America, and there is always going to be an IB school wherever you go, which is, I think, is also a great opportunity for you and for your child, if you were to move somewhere else. The idea is that what they learn is relevant wherever they are on the planet. And of course, last but not least, language immersion. Language immersion is an incredible gift you can give to your child. And when I'm asked, sometimes, in our open houses, people ask me, why language immersion? My answer is always, why not? I mean, you can give this incredible gift. They're going to be learning a second language. We happen to be Italian and teach Italian, but any language is really absolutely wonderful. And I think it has so many benefits that have been documented really for the past 50 years. It would be too long for me to list them now, but we have some incredible resources for you if you're interested, and also presentations that are led by our faculty or the experts here on why it is so beneficial for children to learn two languages and to do so at a young age. Starting in preschool is obviously ideal for them to start. a bit about our history. I've already said a bit, so I mean, I'll keep this short. We really started as a very, very small group of parents. We then developed into a school, a pre-K first, and then a K8. So we really grew organically with a lot of passion and commitment for our founding families and board members. And so La Scuola really was built with the help of the many people that believed in what we do and our mission and values. And you should know that the first time we actually thought about potentially opening a campus in the peninsula was in 2008. So this was the year after I joined La Scuola. And then, you know, a lot of things happened. As you can see, we were looking for a new site, and then we built our beautiful Dog Patch campus that I hope some of you will be able to visit. And then we were looking for a permanent site for our K8. And so fast forward, we now have this amazing opportunity to finally do what we had intended to do many years ago. You know, we now have 310 students with the, you know, potential on our new site to grow to about 450. But this is, you know, in addition to what we could do in our new East Palo Alto site. So where will we be? I think probably this information has already been shared with you. We were very fortunate to be able to secure a lease with the Ravenswood School District on this really beautiful site with incredible potential at 2086 Clark Avenue in East Palo Alto. I think we will be soon in a position to offer tours of this site. This was more recently the site of the primary school that I'm sure some of you know. They are moving out because they need more space, and so that's always a good thing when a school is growing. And there were classrooms there that were already licensed as preschool classrooms, which obviously gives us the reassurance that they are a code for preschool use. But one thing I can guarantee, we will make them look very, very different than the way they look now. One thing I've not mentioned about the Reggio Emilia approach is that in the Reggio Emilia approach, the environment is the third teacher, and so it is very important to us that the spaces that we design and that the children inhabit are beautiful aesthetically, they are intentional, and they're really part of the pedagogy. So the connection between pedagogy and architecture is real and very deep in the Reggio Emilia approach. So this is what we're hoping that we will be able to do with the site. And so we already have a phase 1 and phase 2 idea of what will happen there. And the reason why this is going to happen in 2 phases is that any public school site in the state of California is under the regulations that are established not by the city but by the state of California. So some changes we can do today, and some changes that we really hope to do will require state approval. And as if you live in California, you know that our beloved state is not always fast with approval processes for permitting and construction, as is the city of San Francisco. So I'm in no way complaining here. And so some things we'll be able to do, you know, as soon as we can start in September. And there are also some wonderful changes ahead. The outside space is really outstanding. Again, you should know that because we all live in San Francisco. For us, any square foot of green space is incredible. But I think this actually is a yard that has amazing potential. So this is a rendering that is done by our architects. If you can keep going, Nicole. So this is actually a floor plan of the site. So again, we won't get into too many details. We just wanted to give you an idea of the work that has already happened here. So there are 2 buildings with classrooms, and this is a rendering from the outside, what we look like. So keep going. So we will be adding some elements in the garden. There will be elements of play, and also we'll have a beautiful vegetable garden. We have an environmental science and garden program at La Scuola that starts in preschool and goes all the way to 8th grade. And this is something that's very, very, very important and meaningful to us, and we hope to actually reproduce this down in East Palo Alto. So we will start with 6 classrooms. This site actually has great potential, and we could add many more classrooms if we wanted to. So there are 2 buildings that are the newest ones that we're going to refurbish, and we're going to put some of our beautiful furniture. And then there is a second building that is a little older and is a little more love that we would actually work on in our year 2. So not this coming year, but the following year. So this is actually what the inside of the building will look like. And so we're going to pause here for a moment because our design firm and architect is in Modena, Italy. So this is a firm that has designed all of the new schools in Reggio Emilia, Italy. They also design our dog patch campus, and they really are amazing. Again, we went to the source because we wanted a Reggio Emilia inspired school that was really designed the way the schools in Reggio Emilia are designed. Everything here is intentional. You will see, you know, the colors and the space is really designed around the needs of young children, but also matches the pedagogy that we will offer you. So this is our atelier, and maybe so that I'm not the only person talking tonight, I will let either Sally or Fede tell you a bit more about the atelier in the Reggio Emilia school and what it is and what it means. Fede or Sally?
Oh, see. Federica, would you want to start? Or?
Yeah. So hi again, everyone. As Vale was mentioned, you know, this is our really 3 big value of our education. So our R is with, you know, Reggio Emilia, and is a vision and an approach that you will see, you know, around the school. We also have the International Baccalaureate that is kind of like our mind. And also we offer the language immersion as the Italian immersion that is based on percentage. So for the preschool is 100%, and we have kindergarten is 80 and 20, and when they reach the 3rd grade is 50-50, and you know, middle school is a little bit different, but now we're talking about pre-K and potentially kindergarten. Yeah, exactly. So this is what Vale was mentioned about the atelier. So atelier is an important piece of the Reggio Emilia school. It's a place where all the languages are kind of like meet and explore. Something that Loris Malaguzzi, the founder of Reggio Emilia Approach, wrote is this beautiful poem called The 100 Languages, where it tells us the child is made by 100 and 100 more. So there is not just one way to learn, but there is multiple ways to learn. So we have also Atelierista. It's a person, is an expertise on something that it doesn't need to be actually arts, but could be like specialized in something that is such a unique, and the idea was actually bring, you know, from the outside, an expertise from the outside inside the school. So this is actually part, so the garden is also an atelier, the music is considered an atelier, and the atelier as a heart is also considered an atelier. It's an atelier, you will see, is kind of like bringing all of this different material inside this beautiful space and just using creativity, science, and innovation to create a beautiful project. So this is an example of our Piccoli program, the 2 and 3 years old. This picture was actually, they were talking like this year when we all need to wear masks. It's our, you know, beginning, is our beginning of everything. And you can see there is a lot of exploration and research and experimentation. They are allowed to, you know, enjoy music and the garden and arts, and usually start with something that we call ambientamento. That it's a big things that happen in their life, is the moving from the family actually to the school, so to the socialization. So there is beautiful actually observation that and documentation that I will be happy to send to all of you and to Nicole, where you can see actually what happened when a child is joined for the first time the school. So also on the parent side. So it's such a like unique moment for everyone and for the parents and for us. This is our Grandi program, and I think Alicia, you're gonna go ahead with this.
Yes, this is another example for our Grandi units, which Grandi is 3 to 4 years old, and this unit was about exploring the body, so understanding one's body and characteristic to develop self-awareness. And so this Grandi started with understanding the different parts of the body. As you can see, they were building a body with loose parts, which became like a character in their classroom that they kept for a while. And then they analyzed some mannequins to see, they tried to draw them. So there was a huge graphic exploration of the body. But also from the body, they shifted to exploration of the movement of the body. So how can movement be seen? And that's when they started tracing around the classroom, on the walls, etc. And this is another example of a Grandissimi program, which is 4 to 5 years old. And for the 4 to 5 years old, the central idea was family, and the different classrooms explore family in different ways. And these are some examples of short stories that they used to tell about memories that they have with their families. This is just one example of the many explorations that they have throughout the year, throughout the months in which we explore families.
Okay, I think it's my turn now. So I wanted to talk a little bit, and I know there are a number of questions that are coming in the chat, so we will get to those. So I wanted to talk about the admissions process. Me and Paula are your admissions team. So we will be starting tours at our Dog Patch campus here in San Francisco, giving families, hopefully, given any COVID restrictions, we will be able to do in-person tours. Should we not be able to, we will make you aware of any virtual opportunities that we will have. This will give you a chance. Our Dog Patch campus is our flagship campus. So this is where our preschool is, where all the magic happens. So it would be lovely for you to see an example of all the learning that happens in our environment. Those will happen in September of this year. And I'm going to have Paula talk a little bit about our rough timeline leading up to January 2022.
I'll unmute myself. Okay, back to me. First of all, I want to say the application process. Please see it as a fun time to get to know La Scuola, to get to know us, to ask your questions, and for us to start building a relationship, because that's what La Scuola is all about, community and relationships, where your child is going to grow and prosper and thrive and get to know, everybody around them, and for you to have the support of the community to help them grow. The application process will be a little bit different in terms of timeline. Typically, applications are due in January, which is when the school will start. So what we have planned is to have applications be submitted in October. After which time we will, get in touch to organize, a conversation with yourself, with the families, and where we would like to meet the child via Zoom briefly for like 10 minutes or so and chat. Then, in November time, we would, send out admission decisions, and typically you'd have a week to decide. And then the process of receiving forms and all of the logistics of for a January start. So that is broad strokes, and we will refine the dates, nearer the time, and we'll let you know. If you have any questions, please do email admissions@lascuolaisf.org. Grazie mille. Prego. Nicole, over to you.
So I'm going to stop sharing. I know we have a few, and that we do have plenty of time now for questions, and we'd love to address some of the questions that are in the chat. Let me go back to stop sharing the presentation here. Okay, my team, if you would like to help navigate some of the questions that are in the chat, we can take turns here. Oh, Paula, I think you're muted.
All right, yeah, sorry. Let me see the first question, slightly off topics. We're very much interested in after school weekend language programs to supplement our kids' Italian language skills. Are you planning on offering any of these anytime soon for preschool to K3? Who would like to take that one? Valentina?
So I can take that one. I mean, as everything, it would depend on interest. I mean, the initial focus would definitely be on a full-time program for students that join our pre-K. At La Scuola here in San Francisco, we have offered afternoon classes for sometimes students that had moved on and they were now in different schools where they didn't offer Italian. Definitely the after-school program, in our experience, really works well with slightly older students, versus the little ones who you know, where the full immersion is really the one thing that works the best. But definitely we've seen that from kinder and up, they're able to, you know, because sometimes, as you can imagine, if you have them in another preschool program and then you drag them to another place in the afternoon, they, you know, it may be a little too much for them. But they do, kinder and up, typically they're actually a bit more resilient, and they're kind of able to come and do the afternoon language class. Definitely a lot easier as they get into the older elementary years. So we would definitely be open to doing that.
Now, another question. Thank you, Valentina. Yeah. Another question in the chat was, what is our timeline for kindergarten rollout? And Valentina has already responded.
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. So one thing you should know, again, La Scuola grew one grade at a time. So we started with pre-K, we added kinder, and every year we added a grade. When we started our very first kindergarten class, it was actually a K1. So it was a combination of two grades. And the first 8th grade actually finished 2 years ago at La Scuola, and last year that second half of that founding class completed the 8th grade year. So really anything is possible if there is enough interest. Obviously the huge advantage that all of you and any interested parent would potentially have is that we've already done this. So it's not like every year it's a new school, and it was actually to be honest with you, really a very exciting process. Again, my own child was in the inaugural class and graduated there, as was Paola's son as well. And there is also like a great energy that comes with being the founding class. You know, I think the students really felt the responsibility, and it was actually wonderful. We saw that when they applied to high school, and they were extremely successful in getting into some of the very, very competitive high school market. It's slightly different in the peninsula, but San Francisco is applying to high school is probably worse than applying to college for private high school at least. So I think, again, anything is possible if there is enough interest, including, you know, starting older elementary grades if we have enough interested students. So thank you for the question.
All right, another question from, is there going to be another round of admissions for families who wish to start in August 2022 when the school year starts?
Absolutely. Right, Paola, Nicole?
Absolutely. There will be. So as Vale said, we are starting with Piccoli and Grandi, but given the interest, if there is more interest, then we will continue adding. So as you know, our admission season really begins in August, where we are inching now. This track to open in January, we will be, this timeline will be a little bit different than the traditional admission season. So short answer, yes, we will.
Okay, follow up. What is the minimum number of students who we are looking at to start an after school program?
Okay, Mauro, you're asking very good questions. Have you done this before? No, it's, I would say Okay, I would say that for the after school, I think less than 7 will be hard. And for an actual class of students that would continue, we typically tend to say, well, let's start with 10. You know, less than 10. For this would be for kinder and elementary. So there was also a question about older elementary grades. So 10 would be the number of students for elementary. So yeah, you definitely help, you know, if you find some friends that are interested, bring them along, and so we can really try to make it happen.
Okay, great. Questions are coming in. Can you explain a bit more about how La Scuola teaches 2 languages? Do kids learn to read and write in both languages at the same time? I think that's one for Sally.
Yes. Thank you for the question. As the students are developing their writing skills and their first language that they want to express themselves might be English, but it might more likely be Italian. Considering the connection, the close connection, the clear, phonics around letter to sound. So children will likely be starting to write in Italian, and they're speaking, of course, in the classroom. Formal English in language instruction would happen in kinder and formally in first grade and up. Children are expressing themselves in writing in both languages, and they're primarily, the letter formation, understanding the sounds. And children in first grade are writing in both languages, and they're writing in cursive. At the start of first year, they may, I was in a first year classroom and I said, okay, we're going to do a word search for, long vowels or short vowels. And at the beginning of first grade, they looked at the book and they said, is this in Italian or English? So that's where there's that journey into the written language. By the end of the first grade, they could easily navigate both. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. And actually, this thing about the phonetic language that Sally mentioned, there's this idea of like how transparent is one language, and Italian is one of the most transparent languages, and English is one of the least transparent languages. So you will find that even your English speaker, even if you're a family where there's no Italian at home, will find Italian easier to read. So there was actually a question from Leandro. No, yes, of course, the year would start in August. We actually start in August, late August. August 2022 would be the start of the school year. So that's when the regular school year started. The reason why we kind of start in mid-year this year is because we have the site and we have the funding to get the school Palo Alto started. And so we were thinking, I mean, it's wonderful to be able to, we know there's always a need for early childhood care, and the sooner we can start them with the language, the better. So we thought, why wait? I think the cutoff date by September 1st is actually determined by the state of California cutoff date for kindergarten admissions. So that is September 1st they have to be 5 by September 1st. So this is why we backtrack to the 2-year-olds need to be 2 by September 1st. As with the preschool license, you also have to be 2 to be in school. So that's the minimum age requirement that we have. And this kind of goes then, I mean, everything, I mean, it's hard for you, probably, it depends on the age of your children, but you now maybe have young children and you're not thinking ahead, but this obviously is also relevant when they apply to high school and college. So sending them to school too early may not necessarily be an advantage when they apply to college. And I'm telling you, this is the mother of a soon-to-be senior who is going through that right now.
Another question, how many kids do you have per classroom?
Well, you and Nicole can answer that question.
So for our Piccoli classroom, again, this is really going to be dependent on interest. We could start with a full class of 18 children. That would be lovely, and for Grandi as well. And this is going to depend on interest. And if there's more, then we likely will have Grandissimi as well. So go ahead, Paula.
No, that's fine. No, I was just going on to the next question.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that, I'm sorry, I want to make sure that, Mary, did we answer your question for the start of the school year? I wasn't quite clear. So we will start in January 2022.
I just wanted to encourage people. It's such a small group. I mean, you're also very welcome to ask in person. I mean, it's kind of nice to have the chat so we can save your questions. But I mean, if you feel that we're not understanding you and you need to jump in and clarify, please do.
Yes, please.
Okay, Paula.
Yeah. So the next question was how early should I start our application process if our son will be 2 in October next year? I can answer that one. So you will be starting the application process the fall before your son will be 2. So starting this fall.
So and Leandro, this is an interesting question. I empathize with you because I have an October birthday boy too, and so it's always tricky to be in that position. So what we have done in some cases. First of all, we used to run a great program called Spazio Gioco that we may be able to run again one day. This was pre-COVID. The Spazio Gioco was an entry program that we all loved, which was children younger than 2 would come to school for a couple of hours in the afternoon with their caregiver. And that was wonderful because it basically was kind of a gentle introduction to school and really a great opportunity to hang out with fellow parents and children to get used to interacting with other young children. Again, with the situation now with COVID, we have not been able to do that recently, but we are hopeful that one day that's going to happen again. And in some cases with children that were turning 2 after the September 1st, we have had cases where we have admitted them at that point in time. So you would have to wait until October 2nd because the state of California requires them to be 2. But then what would happen is at some point they would have to repeat a year, which is not really repeating at this age. So they would have to do Grandi or Grandissimi twice. So in my case, my youngest, Matteo, did Grandissimi twice. And it was great because, every year La Scuola is completely different. And yes, he ended up then being one of the oldest students in the classrooms, but that wasn't necessarily bad. And, I have 2 boys, so I'm not saying this with I don't want to overgeneralize, but, boys come along a little slower than girls in the early elementary, middle school years. Again, my oldest, Stefano, is 17, and he shared with me last summer that for the first time he felt he could just about keep up with the girls now that he's a junior in high school. It's like, Mom, now I think I can keep up. And so I think, that everything is possible. We just, we really look at the child and how they're coming along. Summer school. So Lara, it really depends on the interest. If we have enough students that are interested and the staffing that can support summer school, we've always run a summer program at La Scuola and it's always been very successful. So, and also you asked about SF Unified or Palo Alto. So typically private schools don't follow the public school calendar. In San Francisco, they're quite off. In Palo Alto, I'm not sure, but maybe, we can look into that and let you know. We will probably be aligned with the other private schools down there. And typically the vacations are, very similar probably for winter break. Most private schools have a February break, the President's Week break, that public schools don't always have. So we can research that and answer your question.
Question about teachers. Grazie Tommaso for signing the J1 visa petition. How are we going to recruit teachers for the Palo Alto campus? Transfer from San Francisco campus or new hires?
It's a combination, Tommaso, and as you know, Tommaso is a wonderful La Scuola parents. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Again, as for those of you who are not currently at La Scuola, because of the language immersion, we hired a lot of wonderful teachers from Italy, like Alice, and so we have a combination of, it's a very international faculty and staff actually, which is I think one of the other unique and wonderful things about La Scuola. We have people from all over the planet, and in many cases connected by the love of Italy and Italian language. And so the J1 visa program this year has been on hold recently, meaning we actually have a few teachers, not just us, every international school in the Bay Area is in the same situation. We all have teachers that are with approved J1 visas, so they're allowed to work and teach in the United States and be here legally, and they're not permitted to enter because of the COVID situation. And there's something called the NIE, the National Interest Exception, where there are plenty of people that are allowed to come into the country, but it seems that teachers are not considered important enough, which we obviously disagree with. So many schools around the United States are asking our supporters to sign this petition. So there will be some teachers that are coming to teach for Palo Alto, Tommaso, and some that we're hiring locally. And as always at La Scuola, for us, our faculty is the heart of the school. And if we know there's a faculty member that would really prefer to be in Palo Alto, we would, as always, listen to them, and we would, give them the opportunity. So it would be a combination.
Okay, I like your thinking, Mauro. How can we work with your team to start recruiting family to start after school program soon? Yes, I'm sure that there are lots of families, so let's email each other and let's strategize, and we can outreach and create this program. Yeah. Yes, please get in touch with me. Thank you. Any more questions? Come on, be brave and mute yourself. We want to hear your voices.
Yeah, it's true, actually. Maybe since we have some time, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourselves. If you're so inclined, we don't mind if you're in your pajamas or cooking or driving or whatever you're doing. We love to see you, and maybe you can just tell us who you are and what brought you here tonight.
And if you're cooking, we'd like to hear your recipes, please.
I can start. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mi sentite? Okay. Italian, English. What works better? Ok, vado in italiano.
Come vuoi tu, Mauro, va bene.
Mattia, come potete sentire nel sottofondo ci sono bambini che parlano italiano. Io sono un italiano anch'io piemontese, trasferito qui qualche tempo fa, e abbiamo 3 bambini, 5, 3 e 10 mesi, e viviamo qui a Palo Alto e siamo assolutamente deliziati dall'idea di poter, come dire, partecipare a questa comunità. Manderemo i nostri bambini probabilmente a Palo Alto School District per insegnare anche lo spagnolo, però sì, lo so, Mattia, sai lo spagnolo. Però ecco, qualsiasi opportunità come after school program, centro estivo, qualsiasi cosa per supplementare, come dire, l'istruzione in casa, sarebbe davvero fantastico. Quindi grazie per l'opportunità.
Grazie, Mauro. And actually, so Mauro was actually mentioned Spanish, and you just reminded me this wouldn't happen in preschool, but at La Scuola we also start Spanish in 4th grade, and when they get to middle school we actually have an advanced Spanish track and an advanced Italian track. So Spanish is actually part of the La Scuola teaching. Okay, so who else wants to go next?
Vado io. Ciao a tutti,
Laura.
io sono
Ciao.
Laura, ho una bimba di 2 anni e sono anche estasiata all'idea che stiate aprendo una location anche a Palo Alto. Vivo a Mountain View, quindi molto più vicino che San Francisco, anche se avevo considerato perfino venire fino a San Francisco, perché mio marito non è italiano e quindi in casa ho già paura, 2 anni soltanto mia figlia, ma ho già paura che non parlerà italiano appena va a scuola, e quindi voglio davvero che abbia l'occasione di praticarlo. E niente, purtroppo abbiamo già iscritta quest'anno, abbiamo iscritta all'asilo, comincia ad agosto a un'altra scuola, per questo chiedevo anche della possibilità di magari cominciare ad agosto dell'anno prossimo.
Assolutamente, certo, benissimo,
Mm.
grazie mille.
Ciao, buonasera, sono Lara. Oh, scusate.
Volevo aggiungere che anche io sono mezza piemontese.
Oh, bene, Federica.
Lara.
Ciao, buonasera. Scusate le linee, ma non so perché da oggi mi sono venute questa gabbia, che siamo quasi in gabbia, ma io sono Lara. E tu come ti chiami? Emilia, perché io sono emiliana, sono di Bologna, mio marito è americano, lei ha 4 anni a settembre. E siamo venuti già a fare un tour alla scuola di San Francisco quando era piccola, ci siamo innamorati. Io, essendo emiliana, sono un po' di parte, quindi...
Abbiamo anche un covo di emiliani qui, non solo un covo di piemontesi.
Sì, infatti. E quindi però per noi... Un attimo, aspetta. Ed era un po' troppo lontana per noi, quindi abbiamo iniziato qui e quando ho letto che aprivate c'è stata una felicità immensa. E quindi niente, siamo molto interessati. Adesso non so se... Lei va qui a scuola a Menlo Park, non so se iniziare questo gennaio perché non vorrei tirarla fuori, ma dall'agosto prossimo quasi sicuramente, e siamo molto interessati a kindergarten e elementary middle school, quindi niente, grazie mille che finalmente siete arrivati nella penisola.
Fantastico. Grazie mille, Lara. And I just want to encourage, if you're not an Italian speaker, we want to hear from you as well. And we can also translate as if you like us to. Who wants to go next? Mary.
So maybe me, yeah. Sorry, I don't speak Italian.
That's okay. That's okay.
I did understand. Yeah, but I did understand a little bit because I'm actually Spanish speaker. I'm Leandro's husband as well. I'm Leandro's wife, sorry. So actually, his family is Italian, and that's why he really was looking to find a school where our baby that is 9 months old. I know that we're really early, but so he can actually have that interaction with the Italian culture and language, because of course at home we might try to do it a little bit Italian, a little bit Spanish, but it's not the same, right? So that's why we're looking at a school, and we find it, and we're really happy and excited about that. So I don't know, Leandro, do you want to say something else?
No, that's basically all. I mean, my family is from Italy, is from L'Aquila, Sulmona, and I grew up in a very Italian family. My nonno, he told me so much about Italy that I want my son to have that experience, even though he's far from the family. So I really want him for that, and also not losing the language, because honestly, even though I speak a little Italian, I'm losing it because I'm keep switching between Spanish and English, and I'm getting confused all the time. So I want to make sure to keep that going on for our child. And I was concerned because, as Mary says, he's 9 months old, so probably we're too early in this process. We just want to be sure that we are not late at any point. So that's why we keep looking and checking the admission dates.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, speaking of languages, at La Scuola, it's not just about Italian or English. We actually have 34 languages spoken. So I get to do all of the tallies of the languages, 34 languages. So that really gives you a sense of how international our community is. You know, with the 34 languages come 34 different cultures. And so, you know, your child will really be immersed in, you know, in the cultures and everything that, you know, brings such a diverse environment. That's one of the things that I love about the school. You even have Zulu. I'm looking forward to learning more about that.
Same. Madar, I wanted to address your question about how you can recruit more families, and then say this to everybody. We are all about building relationships. So I invite all of you to follow us on our social media pages. And this is an opportunity when we have all of our admissions events, which will be live on our website. I invite you to join those events. They might be virtual, but if you stay connected with us there, this is what is going to drive the enrollment of this new campus and recruit more families. So please follow us on all of our social platforms on Facebook and Instagram, and stay connected with us on our website.
Thank you. Just to follow up, I think that's fantastic. I think it would be great if there's anybody here working one of the big tech companies. I'm at Google. I'll do my part to spread the word there in our internal Italian parents community there. But if there's anybody at Facebook, LinkedIn, the big ones, I'm sure there's tons of Italians there, and we just need to connect the dots. And admittedly, at least in the Peninsula, Italians are pretty bad at making connections with families. And I think SF has a better track record, but it would be fantastic to have any sort of connections and kind of like spread the word. Because I bet you that you find definitely more than 10 or 20 kids ready to go.
And thank you so much, Mauro. And
thank you, Mauro.
Yeah, this is actually, but this is, I also want to make sure that as an Italian myself, I mean, I think we want to make sure that everybody knows that everyone is welcome at La Scuola. So you know, it's again, Italian language connects us and Italian culture. But I wish you could see what we have built here, because really the majority of our parents are not Italian, and still they remind all of us about the beauty and how unique our country is. I think for many of us who've been here for many years, and I'm sure I can speak also for Federica and Alice and all the team members and Elisa that are here, we have learned to appreciate our country even more through the eyes of our fellow colleagues and parents who are American, who have such love and passion for the Italian language and culture. And so you know, everyone is welcome. And I think you're right, maybe the Italians in San Francisco are a little better at connecting, Mauro, but because there's very, very few of us compared to the Peninsula, we're a very small group. But again, we are surrounded by this other wonderful community of you know, families. Like Paola was saying, we have 30 plus languages spoken in the homes of La Scuola. And so I think we were able to create this very international and diverse community that's connected by the love of Italian language immersion. But you're right, we are so close to Facebook in this site that for sure we should, you know, we have some parents that work there, and we'll ask them to help us spread the word.
This has been a fantastic conversation. Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, Tommaso, we know you, but maybe you can introduce yourself too.
Yes.
You can be our insider agent here.
I'll be happy to. I work at Facebook. I'm a father of 3 kids. They are 4, 1.5, and Renato just joined us 10 days ago. Carlo goes to La Scuola in San Francisco. We have always been toying around with the idea of moving down to the Peninsula. But one of the regrets was what we do with the kids if we move south. So this would be like a great opportunity if we can do it. And I work at Facebook, so I'm happy to, like, there is a community of Italians at Facebook, so I'm happy to create all the connections we need.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tommaso.
Any other questions before we let you go tonight? And okay, so we're going to release you. Thank you so much. We know this is a tricky time to be online, especially if you have young children. We really appreciate your time. Spread the word. We know, come and see us. This is going to be a really a wonderful experience for your child. And you know, we really hope to see you in person very soon here at La Scuola in San Francisco, and then a little later down in the Peninsula. Reach out if there are any questions that pop into your mind after you drop off this call. E buona serata a tutti e grazie mille per la partecipazione. Ciao.
Ciao everybody. Thank you.
Grazie, arrivederci.
Arrivederci.